Good evening, everyone. This is Manali Raj. Welcome to the CSA Relay News Bulletin presented by Chanakya IAS Academy Patna. In this segment, we demonstrate about the daily important highlight from the perspective of our civil services examination. Let us have a brief overview of today's headlines. Biological Diversity Amendment Bill passed in Lok Sabha. IMF projects Indian economy to grow at 6.1% in 2023. Lok Sabha passed the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill 2022. Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan launched by the government. National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development organizes program on Mission Shakti, Hub for Empowerment of Women. Today's synoptic report is about full reserve banking. Moving into the details of the news, Biological Diversity Amendment Bill has been passed by Lok Sabha yesterday that aims to amend the Biological Diversity Act 2002. There are some significant shifts in the bill. The Biological Diversity Amendment Bill 2021 seeks to exempt registered Ayush medical practitioners from intimating biodiversity boards before accessing biological resources. It also aims at easing compliance burden, boosting investment and simplifying patent application processes. Environmental organizations have raised concerns about potential for biopiracy. They say amendments favor industry and there is a lack of clarity on benefit sharing with the local communities. Earlier, the Biological Diversity Act 2002 was framed to give effect to the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity 1992 that strives for sustainable, fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the utilization of biological resources and associated traditional knowledge. To do this, it formulates a three-tier structure consisting of a National Biodiversity Authority at the national level, state biodiversity boards at the state level, and biodiversity management committees at the local body levels. The primary responsibility of the biological management committees is to document local biodiversity and associated knowledge in the form of a People's Biodiversity Register. The IMF on July 25 projected a growth rate of 6.1% for India in 2023, which is a 0.2 percentage point upward revision compared with the April projection. This is the reflective of the momentum from the stronger than expected growth in the fourth quarter of 2022 as a result of the stronger domestic investment. The key highlights from the reports are, according to the IMF report, global growth is projected to fall from an estimated 3.5% in 2022 to 3% in both 2023 and 2024. The rise in central bank policy rates to fight inflation continues to weigh on economic activity. Global headline inflation is expected to fall from 8.7% in 2022 to 6.8% in 2023 and 5.2% in 2024. The recent resolution of the US debt ceiling standoff and earlier this year strong action by the authorities to contain the turbulence in the US and Swiss banking reduced the immediate risk of financial sector turmoil. Inflation could remain high and even rise if further shocks occur, including those from an intensification of the war in Ukraine and extreme weather-related events, triggering more restrictive monetary policies. Central banks and economies with elevated and persistent core inflation should continue to clearly signal their commitment to reducing inflation. A restrictive stance with real rates above neutral is needed until there are clear signs that underlying inflation is cooling. With the fiscal deficits and the government debt above the pre-pandemic levels, credible medium-term fiscal consolidation is in many cases needed to restore the budgetary room for maneuver and ensure the debt sustainability. The Union Cabinet has given approval to the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill 2022. This is to increase transparency, accountability, and profit in multi-state cooperative societies. With the passing of this bill by this House, a new era will begin in the country's cooperative movement. Government has taken several steps to revive the PACs, make them viable and multidimensional. While detailed provisions for subjects like reforming the election process of the members, bringing transparency in the society, strengthening the monitoring system and ease of doing business have been made in the bill. Also, there are provisions to provide reservations to one scheduled caste or scheduled tribe and one woman in the committee that has been included in the bill, which will increase the representation of these sections. The bill also contains provisions regarding matters such as bringing transparency in the process of the recruitment of the employees, appointment of auditors from a panel approved by the central registrar, and bringing financial discipline through prescribed standards of audit and accounts. In order to ensure the ease of doing business, the bill also has provisions for amendment in registration procedures speedy disposal of applications and electronic submission of applications, documents and their scrutiny, etc. Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan has been launched by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment in 372 identified vulnerable districts, identified based on the findings of the first comprehensive national survey and inputs from the Narcotics Control Bureau. National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development under the Ministry of Women and Child Development has organized the first capacity building program on Mission Shakti, the hub for empowerment of women, for state nodal officers and state mission coordinators from 21st to 22nd July 2023. Today's synoptic report is about full reserve banking. Full reserve banking, also known as 100% reserve banking, refers to a system of banking where banks are not allowed to lend out money that they receive from customers in the form of demand deposits. Demand deposits are the deposits that customers can withdraw from the bank at any point in time without any prior notice. So under full reserve banking, banks are mandated to hold all money that they receive as demand deposits from customers in their vaults at all times. In this case, banks simply act as custodians to the depositors' money and may charge a fee from depositors for the service of safekeeping that they offer to the depositors. This is in contrast to today's banking system in which banks pay interest to the customers on their demand deposits. In other words, under the full reserve banking, banks are expected to hold reserves backing 100% of their liabilities in the form of demand deposits. This is to ensure that the banks can successfully meet redemption demands from depositors and thus avoid a run on the bank even if all depositors someday decide to come asking for their money at the same time. Some news in text. The growth of top Indian pharmaceutical firms in financial year 24. As per the ICRA, the growth will be supported by an 8 to 10% increase in revenue in the Indian market, 6 to 8% in the US market, 3 to 5% in European market, and 8 to 10% in the emerging markets. The projected population of India as on July 1, 2023, 139 in crore. Union Minister Nityanand Rai replied to a question in the Lok Sabha by stating India's projected population according to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare report. Deaths while cleaning sewers and septic tanks in past 5 years. Despite banning manual scavenging, the Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment said that 9 such deaths were recorded in 2023, 66 in 2022, 58 in 2021, and 22 in 2020. The average cost of data breach in India as of 2023, according to an IBM study, the cost is at an all-time high and increased by almost 28% since 2020. The most common attack type in India is phishing, almost 22%, followed by stolen credentials, which stands at 16%. Today we are observing the Kargil Vijay Divas to commemorate India's victory in the 1999 conflict with Pakistan. It honors the bravery of Indian soldiers in the war. That was all for today. Stay tuned to our channel for standardizing your civil services preparation. Thank you.